There's something going on. Today I'm doing sour beer. I'm doing two different ways. One is a quick way, so in like 3 weeks, maybe a month. And the other one is a long one, which is going to be hopefully around under 7 months, but it might be closer to 10 months. I just kegged one of my sours. Here it is. It's a dark sour. It's incredible. I'll link the recipe below with all the bottle dregs I used, so you can see what bottles I used. But I only did bottle dregs. That's all I did. I didn't do any like out of a vial pitch of anything or out of a bag or anything. Took about 10 months to do. It's actually done about a month ago, but I had about 3 gallons of it and I kegged it. So that's what this is from the keg. 2 gallons of that beer are going to go onto the yeast cake of this, or the slurry, some slurry, about half of the slurry I'm going to take. And then I'm going to take another gallon of it and then do a quick sour with it. And the quick sour I'm going to do, I got the idea from Mike Tonsmeyer, aka the Mad Fermentationist. He had a great article that he wrote for one of the recent BYO magazines. He had 3 different ways of doing it, and the one that stuck out to me was the one where it was 100% lacto fermentation with a lacto strain, and then adding Brett for the secondary portion of it. So it's kind of like a kettle sour, except you're not doing it in a kettle. It is quick though. The lacto strain I'm using is the Brevis strain from White Labs. Did some research on it, and it's mainly used for secondaries, but it can be used for primary as well. And all the kettle sours I've done, I've always been really cautious of CO2 entering in, because oxygen can actually introduce wild bacteria a bit more. So by purging everything with CO2, it eliminates that. I don't think I'm going to purge my vessels with CO2 for my initial fermentation, because supposedly commercial strains you're more okay with than you are doing stuff using grain, which I have, or probiotics and other things like that. So I'm not going to purge it with CO2. I am, however, going to get the wort to 4.5 first, and this is going to be for my quick sour, and that also inhibits some wild growth as well. So that's the thing more important than anything. There is a bit of an issue to this in that I did make a starter with my lacto brevis and with my Brett strain, because there's not a lot of yeast in that. Even though I'm doing a 1 gallon batch, I want to make sure I have enough yeast cells, or enough bacteria cells in the case of lactobacillus. So I did make a starter. I did a quarter liter in each, and I had some really old DME, and I used that, and it was like that really dry and crusted up DME. And it's been 3 or 4 days. I've kept it around 75, 80 degrees, and I see no activity. I have no idea if it's eating or not. Usually with a Brett strain with the starter, I usually get some fermentation at this point. With lacto, maybe not, depending on the strain that you use, or different variations of what certain lacto strains can do. This brevis, I think I should have gotten some fermentation, or at least some signs of it. We'll see. I'm going to pitch all of what I have, and hopefully something happened. Hopefully I got some starter out of it. I think with 5 gallon batches, you want to do at least about 1 liter lactobacillus starter, and same thing for Brett. And I think for Brett, you might even want to do an initial starter for about 7 days, and then step it up and do another starter with it again. I think there can be a secondary fermentation with Brett that other yeast strains don't have. So then what I'm going to do is sour it quickly, and I'm going to do that in a 1 gallon jug. And then I'm going to heat it up to about 170 or so degrees Fahrenheit, 180, for about 20 minutes, and hold it there, and then add my hops. And the hops I'm using is Simcoe, Citra, and Mosaic. For the longer age sour one, that's going to go for about a year, that one I'm going to get to 4.5 first. I'm just going to put it right in, and after initial fermentation, transfer it to a secondary, and then let it do its thing. For this one, I did not let it go to a secondary. It's all primary the entire time. I don't know if I like that. I still get good flavors out of it, but having it sit on a yeast cake for that long made me a little bit nervous. Not that autolysis would really happen doing it that way, because Brett can clean up autolysis a bit more than other strains. So it would probably be cleaned up in the end anyway. But just take the cleanest flavors possible. I'd rather be safer than sorry, and just after initial fermentation, go to a secondary and let it do its thing. And then from there, be very careful with CO2 when I do take gravity readings every about 4 months or so. Well, I like the idea of splitting this up, because basically just using the same wort. The recipe is almost identical to what Mike Tonsmeyer recommended. I think it's like 2-row majority, and then a little bit of flaked wheat. and I had asthma because my water profile is a little hard here in Glendale, California. I am going to do a full boil for 60 minutes with all 3 gallons. That should give me an OG of about 1050 for both, maybe a little higher. And that's okay because I'm not going to boil it after I add lacto. I'm just going to do that pasteurization. So it's going to be it's going to be at 1050 the entire time. Even at a steeping out at 180, it won't change hardly at all, I imagine. I'm not boiling it. So that's the plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. My calibration has been off a little bit on my pH meter, which is odd because I bought it because chemists online kept saying that it was good to go once you fully get it calibrated the first time. That has not been the case. So I usually get a solution of 3 different ones. Let me show you the brand I get. It's on Amazon. It comes with 3 calibration solutions. It comes with pH of 7, pH of 4, pH of 10, and it comes with a storing solution as well. So what I do for storing it was actually fill this cap up with the solution, and then I put the pH meter in it, and it stores hopefully for a while with liquid inside. So I'm gonna test this first against the 7 and just see how accurate it is. Actually, I might do the 4 first and see if it registers up close to 4. If it's really close to 4, I'll leave it. If it's off, then I'll recalibrate it. It should be reading at 4 exactly, so I'm gonna calibrate this super quickly. It's a little low. Wow, I've been high recently, I feel like. So I'm gonna add actually a little bit of baking soda here. I don't know the exact amounts. I rarely have to worry about raising my pH. I usually have to worry about lowering it. I'm gonna add like a pinch, stir it in, and then take another reading and see where I'm at. Still too low. So that was 1/8 of a teaspoon. I added another 1/8 of a teaspoon. I'm not gonna take another reading because based off what I see here, that'll give me the 5.2. That was 1 full pot. I haven't had this much wort in a long time. I have to be very careful for a boil over on this one. Oh, there it is. Lightning. Whoa! This is so weird for Los Angeles. What? Hail! What is going on? That's it, the hail's over. Just that little snippet. Weather's so weird. I do see blue sky over there. I'm just hunkered down now. Stuck. But I have a bunch of beer in their chest freezers, so I'll be good for a while. I don't think I said this earlier, but there are no hops required for my 2-gallon sour I'm doing. So, and for the 1-gallon sour I'm doing, the hops are going to be put in about 3 days from now. So yeah, no hops for this whole boil. Kind of nice. 1040. Great. Right on track. That is cold. Oh, that's cold. Oh, that's cold. Ooh. Ooh. So for those who haven't seen my other videos, this is an aquarium pump, and I'm just running really ice cold water through the wort chiller here. Once this cold water drops down a little bit to where the pump is, then I'm gonna put this back into there and just recycle the water through it. Oh, whoopsies. Oh, whoopsie. No! God, that's cold. Some water got in there. It got in there. Back in business. So here's what it looks like. The pump here. And then right back into there. When it gets to 100, I'm gonna pull off under a gallon or so, like 0.75 gallons or so, and put it into a 1 gallon jug, and then add my lactose starter that hasn't really taken off yet, and hopefully something happens. 1051, awesome. It's going for 1052, it's great, got what I wanted. That's the temp I'm going for to pull off about 3/4 of a gallon. Put it in this jug here, and pitch that lactose strain. Okay, now I'm gonna get the pH to 4.5. And I think the rule of thumb is you add 1 milliliter of lactic acid to get it to drop the pH by 0.1. So I'm gonna take a pH reading first, see where I'm at, and then go from there. Okay, so that should be 10 milliliters of lactic acid. Now, I believe that's for a 5 gallon batch. I have these, and that's 1 milliliter right there. Basically, it's 10 milliliters divided by 5. So that would be 2 milliliters total. So I'm going to add 1 milliliter, test it again, and see where I'm at. I can always add more. I'm not worried about sanitizing this because nothing's surviving in this lactic acid. Perfect. So I'm now going to add my lactose starter, and should be good to go. What I'm going to do is maybe just purge the headspace with CO2 afterward because it can't hurt. Rather be safe than sorry. But it's not completely mandatory with a commercial lactose strain. By the way, I'm going to keep this near my floor heater and wrap it in a blanket, and it should keep it around 90 degrees for 3 or 4 days. All right, I got this to about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and I'm gonna transfer it now. Mike Tonsmeyer, the Mad Fermentationist and American Sour Beers, I emailed him asking him some questions about this, and he said that it's good in regards to pitching slurry of a year-long sour that I had. He said you want to pitch a little bit of fresh yeast as well because in theory, well, he didn't say this, but I think the theory behind it is that that year-long slurry is basically dead. I mean, there's not much left in it. It's stressed out. So by adding a little bit of fresh yeast to it, you get that initial fermentation, and then the bugs can reawaken during the next long year re-fermentation. I don't know what yeast to use. I don't have like necessarily fresh yeast. My gut says use my harvested yeast. It's washed. It's clean. I know it's really sanitized. I boiled these jars. I think it's safer. I don't have quite enough, I think, but with the sour slurry I'm going to put in there, and with a little bit of this, it should be good. This funnel is a sour funnel, only used for sour beer. Gotta keep it separated. So this is the slurry of my last sour. I'm gonna do about half of it. That should do it. I might give this a little bit of a swirl here, but nothing much. And yeah, once it's done fermenting, like I said, I'll put it to a secondary. I'm gonna keep it probably around 75, 70 degrees or so, thereabouts. Yeah, we should be good to go here though.